Welcome back to the Getting Results Inc. podcast. I'm Coach Gino. Alongside is Super Coach Coach Ken, as well as Coach Lauren. Lauren, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Gino.
Awesome. Super Coach, how goes it today?
Long day keeping America safe for capitalism.
Beautiful. Super Coach, you're always on. You're always making it happen. Always in
Right,
service. So
we're on
again,
duty.
thank you for your service.
Protecting the motive power out there.
Awesome. Good. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the Getting Results personal assessment and why, what is it, why take it, and how it can help a potential client. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, so let's start with that. Coach Lauren, what is the personal assessment?
So the personal assessment it's a framework, a structure for us to have a conversation that allows us to kind of get a sense of where you're at in your business, where you'd like to go. And it also helps us uncover any possible hidden obstacles that you might be encountering, hidden or unhidden. Then it's like, you have these conversations with people and you ask them about their businesses, but sometimes you have to ask the right questions to get to the bottom or to the heart of what is going on. So the assessment was designed to do just that. So it provides a framework for a conversation so we can get a sense of where your business is at today, where you'd like to see it go. And that way we can kind of use our experience from more than 2 decades to get a sense of what it is you might need.
Cool. Super Coach, so why should someone take the personal assessment? Like, do we keep telling them that they have to do that?
Well, the hard truth is we're not for everyone. And part of the personal assessment, what that allows us to do is to help you figure out if you're the right kind of client for us, if we can make a lifelong impact on you, and if we're the right kind of coaches for you. And what's really cool is that it allows us to have a structured conversation with you, because on that assessment, you'll fill out a series of literal questions. And you'll also do this thing called a gap analysis, like where are you struggling or where are you feeling the pain, and also where are you crushing it. And then you get a bunch of series of open-ended questions, and literally the more honest you are, the more that you share with us, the more we can either impact you or steer you in the right direction, or even giving you resources or books to read that have nothing to do with getting results.
Nice. So Coach Lauren, the questions on there, I'm assuming you came up with those questions because I don't know if Super Coach has that capacity for that. So why did you select the certain questions that you had? I'm just kidding, Super Coach.
Again, a lot of times the things that are keeping us from what we want are not always apparent or really clear as we go through our own day-to-day business. So the questions were designed to get to the heart of what might be your greatest challenges. And it allows us to be able to articulate pathways that we see to get you where ultimately that ultimate destination is. So, we did spend a lot of time fine tuning the questions so that it's not painstakingly long. But also allows us to get to, again, to answer those fundamental questions that we have as coaches.
Yeah. Coach Ken, if someone takes the assessment, does that automatically, mean that they're going to be a client of ours? To go back to your point, what you were talking about earlier, talk about that, because not everyone becomes a client after they complete it, right?
No, not everyone does become a client. It's because it's in that conversation. One of the things that we promise everyone from that conversation is that you're going to get value from it, and we're going to tell you the truth. We're going to tell you the truth as we see it. And sometimes people are in a phase in their business where they really can't afford to invest in a coach, right? And of course, we'll tell them that. And there are other times that there are people who just aren't a good fit, especially if you know everything. You really shouldn't be talking to us. Right? Who we really make the best impact on are those that know that there's more, that they can see that there's a potential out there for them, and they just can't figure out how to hit it. Like that somewhere they might be a little stuck in their business, or a lot stuck. They've been in the business 15 years and their production is relatively the same, and they want to get to that next level. I think what's also, I was reflecting on us and on how we coach today, is that if you're in financial services, you know the markets, you know the business, right? We're not going to coach you on what mutual funds you should be in or how you should construct your portfolios, etc. What we will coach you on is how to become more in alignment so that you can go further and faster with less fuel.
Right. Love it. Love it. So, Lauren, as someone's completing that assessment, what would make it, what are some tips to make sure that it is a value to that potential client, and making sure that we really can have a great conversation, and that they can get value out of it?
I would say the couple of really key things are be honest and be vulnerable. What I have found, and what this, for those who are like very, very honest and very, very vulnerable in the answering the question, is it allows us to get insight as to, again, what might be hindering progress. And it might seem obvious to say, oh yeah, this is what's getting I know what's getting my way, but oftentimes you don't actually know what's in your way. You think you know what's in your way. Because again, as we like to tell people, if you knew what was in your way or how to either remove the obstacle or modify whatever needs to be modified, you'd be doing it and you'd be where you want to be. So this allows us, there's so many nuances to coaching, and that's why the years of experience is so important, because you can sometimes see the things that aren't so apparent. So being extremely honest and vulnerable is how you'll get the greatest value from the assessment.
Awesome. So we have some different questions. You can rate how you are, what your feelings are about how you're doing in specific areas. How important is it that they really give it some thought around rating it, as well as that percentage that we ask them for, would you say?
How important? Well, it's important to think, is to discern and to reflect. If you think and discern and reflect, not only will your answers be better, but our ability to impact you will be that much. It's like anything else. The more effort you put into it, the more reward you're going to get out of it. Just like the least effort you put into it, if you give one word answers, you're going to get one word results. So as Lauren was saying, is express yourself. And there's another thing I'd like to highlight too about, as Lauren was saying, if you really knew what you were doing, if you really knew how to be a $2 million producer, you'd already be a $2 million producer. Now, I know that's not nice, but I've spoken across the country, and I always love this particular analogy. I say about, you know what to do, but for some reason you're not doing it. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, everybody, who knows how to lose weight? Everybody will always raise their hand and say, hey, I know how to lose weight, diet and exercise. And I'm like, you all know that, right? Everyone in the room knows how to lose weight, right? And they're like, yes, we do. And then I say, okay, how many of you are at your ideal weight? And maybe 3, 4, 5 hands will go up out of 100 people. You know, but you really don't know, because if you really did know, you'd be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's one of the benefits of coaching. There's blind spots, right? We have blind spots all around us, and we have a tendency to trip over them. And sometimes what you believe the problem to be, I don't have enough leads, my staff is horrible, I live in a small town and there's nobody with money here. Whatever that is, more than likely that's not the real answer, because all of us coach people from very small towns in the middle of nowhere, and they have an ungodly amount of money. So opportunity is everywhere, but just sometimes we need a guide to get to that opportunity. And that assessment perhaps will begin a relationship with a qualified guide to get you where you want to go.
Lauren, someone goes out, they take action today, and maybe we'll give a call to action at the end of this podcast. But so they complete the assessment. What's next? What can they expect next?
So after the assessment's completed, again, it takes about 10 minutes if you're breezing through it, but I highly recommend taking a good solid 15, maybe even 20 minutes for those really thoughtful answers. Once we receive that, you'll get a call or an email to schedule a conversation, roughly 45-minute conversations, within 24 to 48 hours. So we schedule that call with you. You get one-on-one with one of our experienced coaches that will give you insight. And as Ken said, regardless of what your choice is, at the end of that complimentary call, you'll get value from it. You'll get insights that, you didn't walk into that call with.
Let's talk about that value. So Super Coach, in your experience, right? What are some of the things that someone should expect value-wise out of that conversation?
Some of the things that, well, it depends on what's on their personal assessment. But often it's amazing on how much I can shift somebody, or all of us can shift someone with a few words. Like, really, what is your value, and what do you really get paid for, and what is your real skill set? And just a little hint, your real skill set is not building portfolios or doing financial planning. As much as the firms want you to believe that to be true, technically that's commoditizing things, but I won't go down that rabbit hole. Is you have an interesting skill set that once you realize what it is, it can change your whole business and how you grow your business and even how you run your practice.
Yeah. Hey, Coach Lawrence, so we often get asked this. So let's say someone does the assessment. We have a great conversation. They want to go forward. Some people ask, well, how does it work? So maybe let's just talk about it. So how does the coaching work with us in terms of the structure? Just to give people an idea of what that looks like.
Yeah. So the very first thing you do when you're registering for coaching is you complete your own personal objectives. So these objectives are all your own, but it becomes the roadmap, the guide for your coach to create the optimal path to allow you to achieve those objectives. So it literally becomes our roadmap. As we've mentioned several times before, you don't go through a cookie cutter process. You go through the right process to help you achieve those objectives. One of my clients put it so well, and she said, you meet me where I am and help me go where I want to go. You don't start from square one or step one and then walk me through all these other steps that I don't necessarily need. So it starts with those objectives. From there, you will speak with your coach weekly for roughly half hour, sometimes 45 minutes, depending, every week for 3 weeks on, and then 1 week off. That's the rough path. Obviously, certain things get rescheduled, but it's 3 calls a month and it's month to month. So you go as long as you want, and you stop when you feel you need to stop. Another question I get asked a lot is, how long does it take? And it's like anything. How long is it going to take you to get in shape? It's an impossible question to ask because, I don't know, are you working out hard 5 days a week, and who knows what else you're doing in terms of your diet? And so behavior wise, we can't predict how you're going to behave. So it's impossible for us to predict exactly when, but what I will say is, the path to those results is dependent on, again, how well you implement the things that you're working on with your coach. Second to that, another common question we get asked is, how long ultimately does the overall process take? And it really varies. So once again, despite the fact that we have just 30-day agreements, our clients oftentimes stick with us for a long time. We become that partner to them. We become a strategic element on their team. So it is a little bit different than just going through a solid step-by-step program in that sense. But some people say, I want to complete my objectives. They go away and they come back when they have new objectives. Some clients, we've been on their team and part of their work for years. I mean, we have clients that have been with us for 18 years solid. So I say that that's just a testament to the kind of work and relationship we create with our clients.
Yeah. Hey, Super Coach, it's staying in the conversation, right?
Yes, it's about staying in the conversation.
Staying in the conversation.
Staying in the conversation, not muting yourself. Because if you mute yourself, then you can't hear, or then you can't participate, and
I will edit that out, Super Coach. Don't worry about it.
That's all right. You can't participate. But it's this idea of staying in the conversation. Now, hopefully, you've been listening to all the podcasts out there, and perhaps you think, man, why would I ever take on coaching when I could listen to all the podcasts, read all the books, read all the articles, watch all the videos?
Hey, we are really good. So,
And we
I could see that might happen.
and there is no way, and you will get impact from that. But I want you to imagine this. Imagine if you read all the books, watched all the videos, listened to all the podcasts about boxing, and then got into the ring with someone who had a coach and trained consistently. Like, how do you think that would work out? Right? Because this is no. I want you all to notice something. Look at all the self-help books or business building books you've read. You got a lot of good ideas. What you do, you read one book this week, and then you read another book the next week, and another book the third week, and so you can become like a self-help business building junkie. You've read 52 books in a year, but your business is still roughly in the same place. And that's for a very simple reason. That's a one-sided conversation. You don't have eyes on you, right? You're not interacting with a coach. Your coach is not getting to know you. But if you embrace the path, if you will, your evolution will increase exponentially, right? Like Lauren was saying, well, we don't really know when we're going to have the impact, depends on you. No, you stay in the conversation within 6 to 24 months, you will be amazed at the life and business that you have created, right? You just got to stay in the conversation. Like literally, imagine talking to one of us and us asking you the following question. What is your priority for the week? What is the single thing that you will do that will have the most impact on your life or your business? But imagine that for 52 weeks. Imagine what you would create. What happens in real life without us? You do it once, then you read another book, and then the cat gets sick, and then suddenly the cat, and then your kid brings home a goat, and you don't know what to do with the goat and the cat start fighting, and then it's 3 months later, and everything falls apart.
First world problems.
Well, to that point, one of the things that we oftentimes don't see, because the distractions are always there, the interrupters are always present. So, a lot of times in our coaching, sometimes we have to focus on the thing that's right in front of them that wasn't even necessarily part of business, but we got to clear the field so that your attention can be focused where you want your attention focused.
Right. Yep. Spot on.
And the kind of relationship we create with our clients is very unique. When I really say we become part of the team, I don't even necessarily mean just the business team. We have clients that tell us things that they don't tell anybody else in their world,
right?
Because it's a field that's they can use to kind of clear themselves and just sort of be able to run things past us.
Right. We become the trusted advisor to the trusted advisor. So much like if you have a great business, you are a trusted advisor to your clients and you guide them in things sometimes outside of financial services because they trust you. Now, much like when you have a coach, you have eyes on you, someone who's committed to you, wants the best for you, but doesn't have a vested interest. And what I mean by a vested interest is your boss, your business partner, your kids, your spouse have a vested interest in all of your outcomes. So meaning they can not necessarily taint it, but try to shift your view. Perhaps your spouse doesn't want to have a house in Colorado. As your coach, we're like, yeah, let's go get it. Let's go figure that out. Let's figure out what your business is for you and let's make it work for you. Because if you are in alignment, you will go further and faster with less fuel. And how do you know if you're...
Let me just add to that too, that sometimes it means how do you align things with your spouse?
How would you present it? Like, we'll help you spin that so your spouse loves it and thinks it's her idea. And
get some buy-in. Yes.
All right.
Get some buy-in.
You don't just go buy the house in Colorado despite what your spouse.
See, this is what Lauren does to me all the time. I'm like, yeah, well, that's a great idea. I think that was my idea, wasn't it?
Did he tell you about the Colorado home that he just... No, I'm just kidding.
As he just bought.
Whoops.
Hey, so before we close out, it just occurred to me too. One way why the personal assessment is so cool is you get all those benefits you talk, but it also gives you an idea of what a coaching call feels like, right? Like an example of how it goes. What the interactions like and what comes out of it, because if you've been listening to our podcast and hearing about us, or other people were clients, but you're still unsure, the personal assessment is a great way to figure out if a coaching call fits you and it's the right thing to do.
Right. Another great point is if you don't get any value from the personal assessment, from the conversation with the coach, then you should run for the hills. then you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this ain't the right path for you. No
Right.
harm, no foul, except maybe 45 minutes of your life. But that has never happened in the 20 something years of our business for a very simple reason. We'll be honest with you. We'll tell you the truth as we see it. Now, you can accept that or not. Cool thing about America, that's a cool thing about being coachable. And it's also the cool thing about a willingness to explore an arena where you can get a slight edge that can lead to exponential returns for your life and your business.
Love it. Yep. All right, coaches, any last words about the personal assessment before we close out our podcast today?
Nope, but you can find it on our website. Any page of the website, you'll find it.
Yeah,
GetResultsInc.com.
I would close is that it takes new action to produce new results, right? Explore, be adventurous, be curious, explore and see what's possible for you. Because if you knew our clients, or maybe you even do know some of our clients, notice the amazing results that they've achieved in their lives and their businesses, whether that's pushing $1 billion or $1.5 billion, or they're living a life where they're raising funds for fishing, or one of our clients literally right now is flying airplanes and helping out the people in North Carolina, right? Out of his own pocket, out of his own level, because his business allows him to do that. So be adventurous, complete the assessment, change your life.
Yes, with that. So let's talk about that. So those of you listening to this podcast, go ahead and take that personal assessment. To Lauren's point, you can go to gettingresultsinc.com and you'll see on every page, there'll be an opportunity to take the personal assessment. Take it, complete it, give it 15, 20 minutes. It'll be time very well spent and an investment. The other thing, the link will be in our show notes to this podcast. So if you're in Apple or Spotify and you click on the episode, you'll see it'll say take the personal assessment. Click on it. It'll take you right to it. You've got nothing to lose, but a lot to gain by this. So we encourage you to go ahead and take that personal assessment. And by the way, if you do know someone who's a client, talk to them about it. Ask them about what we do and how we do it, what their experience is. That way you can really get the real deal on how this all goes down.
And if you don't know anyone who's a client, call us and we can connect you with one of them.
Good point, Super Coach. Absolutely. Well, Super Coach, Coach Lauren, thank you very much for your insight today. To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's podcast and got value from it, please be sure to share and follow our podcast. Hit the like button and to give us a rating. We can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and gettingresultsinc.com under resources. Tune in next week for our next episode. Be great.